A little bit of an excursion today. I don't know if people heard about this thing. There's this wall of shame. It's an art installation. I guess that's what we're going to determine today. So I'm here in Brooklyn. I don't really like Brooklyn too much. You get the iPhone 13 on them. I mean, that gives you the idea, you know, look at this neighborhood here. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is good to see. I don't really come to Brooklyn all that often. It's a nice day. I don't know what the hell is going on over here. It's kind of tagged up, graffitied site. But there is there's an art installation over here that is the Wall of Shame. It's somebody who doesn't like January 6th made a wall of shame. They're allowed to do it. You know, First Amendment, they're right. They don't like January 6th, make a wall of shame. They listed everybody's names on there, and the people who, I mean, this is a valid form of protest. If you disagree with Trump having pardoned people for January 6th, go ahead and make some art. You're right to do it. I can't very well complain about what Nina does to me and then get mad when somebody does something like this. I just wanted to see it, and also, you know, look, everybody knows I was there on January 6th documenting the thing, and since then, I have, I don't want to overstate these relationships or speak for anybody, but I think we've become friends. Certainly I consider these guys friendly guys, friends of the show, friends of mine. I'm talking about George Tanyos and Adam Johnson and William Pope. I think those are pretty much the only 3 January 6 victims that I have personally befriended. I'm trying to think. I apologize if I'm leaving anybody out. Certainly anybody who got jammed up on January 6th for just walking in to the building and doing essentially nothing, they got screwed. And, oh, well, no, also Brandon Straka. No Brandon for a long time. He got screwed. Here we got some vending going on. Nice. Haberdashery. Haute couture. This is Brooklyn couture right here. But I mean, this is the neighborhood. Fine dining. And we've got Brooklyn Natural here. Brooklyn Natural Food Company. Oh my God. What kind of food is coming out of here? So this thing is not in a museum or anything like that. It's part of this thing called the Pine Box. I think it's just a bar. There it is. Bogart and Groton. Don't Bogart the Groton. I guess they do a lot of art on the street here. That's less grandiose than I expected it to be. It's a tiny little wall there. I mean, I don't know. Here, pay artists. Yeah, so it's a graffiti artist area, I guess. I don't know, as graffiti art goes, maybe this is okay. I think Charles would have something to say about it. Here, please just bury me in a pine box. Pine Box Rock Shop. This is the bar. And this is the installation. So there's some kind of code here where red is, I guess, people who were here. Violent rioters. Blue is damaged property. White is the rest. Special thanks to the host, management, board, and donors of Radio Free Brooklyn. Rob Pritchard, whose idea it was to remind everyone about the pardons. I don't know if we want to give these guys all this kind of credit. It's a public artwork documenting the stories and crimes of 1,575 Capitol rioters, January 6th, pardoned by Trump, as fact-checked by National Public Radio. So how is this? Okay, good. It's alphabetically listed, so we should be able to find friends of ours. Let's start over here at A. So I guess if it's going by last name, I mean, wow, it would be worthwhile to document, sort of each of these. It's going to be hard to do. I guess I could kind of slowly do this, and then people, if you see yourself, you could pause it. I don't know how long this thing is going to be here. Well, we know Big O Barnett was a client of Joe McBride, right? He'll be under B. Oh yeah, what do they say about Ashli Babbitt? These two guys are big red here. Hard to read. According to court documents, Zachary Allen was allegedly part of... Yeah, see, this is obviously carefully reviewed by a lawyer, saying allegedly and according to court documents. So I think these guys are within their rights, of course, to do this. Here's Richard Barnett, 60 years old. Richard Barnett, who goes by the name Big O, gained notoriety in the January 6, 2021 insurrection. I don't really think they should call it that. After he was photographed sitting in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office with his feet propped up on a desk. In a recorded interview with media outlets that same day, Barnett, who was wearing a plaid jacket without a shirt underneath, is seen holding an envelope addressed to Rep. Billy Long and with a digital signature from Speaker Pelosi. According to court documents in the interview, Barnett says, "I did not steal it. I bled on it because they were macing me. I put a quarter on her desk." He also left a note on the Speaker's desk, according to court documents, which read, "Nancy, Big O is here, you be." According to the Washington Post, Barnett has criticized Pelosi for considering the term white nationalist to be derogatory, allegedly posting on Facebook, "I am white, there is no denying that. I am a nationalist, I put my nation first, so that makes me a white nationalist." Charges and outcome: obstruction of an official proceeding and aiding and abetting, entering and remaining in a restricted building on grounds with a deadly and dangerous weapon, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds with a deadly or dangerous weapon, entering and remaining in certain rooms in the Capitol building, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, demonstrating or picketing in a Capitol building, theft of government property, an envelope which is a value of less than $1,000. Barnett pleaded not guilty to all charges, found guilty on all charges on January 23rd, 2023 in a trial by jury, sentenced on May 24th to 54 months. Think of that, 4.5 years. Incarceration, 36 months of supervised release, $455 special assessment, a $2,000 restitution. He received a pardon on January 20th, 2025. Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of money spent on, where's Ashli Babbitt? Brandon Barnhill. All the R's here. Can we see Ashli Babbitt? Bacon. Here, Ashli Babbitt. She's in red. On January 6th, despite multiple warnings not to proceed, Babbitt attempted to climb through a shattered window beside a barricaded door into the Speaker's lobby. She was shot in the shoulder by a United States Capitol police officer and later died. The shooting was deemed lawful and within department policy and potentially saved members of Congress and staff from serious injury and possible death. Babbitt's Twitter account, which was taken down after her death, was rife with references to the QAnon conspiracy theory, which centers on the baseless belief that Trump has secretly battled deep state enemies in a cabal of Satan-worshipping cannibals. I wonder. That includes prominent Democrats who operate a child sex trafficking ring. And that was so great when Alex Jones said, "Oh, you mean like Jeffrey Epstein and the Clintons?" I mean, that's the thing. QAnon is more accurately described as a limited hangout than a conspiracy theory, because it's telling you some things that seem true there is a child sex trafficking ring. Anyway, Babbitt was issued a criminal summons, road rage incident, issued a criminal summons, I guess, for a road rage incident in 2016 on charges of reckless endangerment, reckless driving, negligent driving, and failure to control a vehicle's speed to avoid a collision. She was also charged with malicious destruction of property for the damage of the woman, the woman whose vehicle she rammed 3 times with her SUV before pounding on the window, challenging her to a fight. Babbitt engaged in a months-long extramarital affair with the woman's longtime live-in boyfriend. This has got nothing to do with January 6th. And when the woman learned of the relationship, she called Babbitt's husband and told him she was cheating. President Donald Trump's administration is set to pay nearly $5 million to the family of Ashli Babbitt to settle a lawsuit brought by the estate of Babbitt. I don't know that they needed to go into all that stuff of the issues with her husband, and that seems, I don't know, is that stuff all proven? That's a little bit salacious. So let's see. Where's Adam Johnson? You know, it's going to be hard for people to read this because, frankly, standing 2 feet away from it, it's hard to read it. That gives you some sense of what they're writing on here, what they put there about Babbitt. It seemed a little more factual when they were dealing with Mr. Barnett there. And like I said, a lot of these people are represented and suing, so I guess they wanted to be, you know, careful not to say things that could get them sued. I should have done this live, but I gotta be honest, because people are gonna be telling me in the comments to look up specific names. And the thing is, I didn't know how long it was gonna take. They said there's gonna be long delays on the L train over here, you know, getting to Brooklyn by subway can be a hassle. So rather than chase the clock and start live, I'm pre-recording this and we'll play it later. So where's Adam Johnson? Here he is. Adam Christian Johnson, 36 years old. Adam Johnson, prosecutors allege, is the man whom a photographer captured widely smiling, is that a crime now? And waving while carrying House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's lectern. He is the lectern guy. He became known on social media as Podium Guy. Ah, that's false. Perhaps he has a defamation claim there. He's not a podium guy, he's the lectern guy. A person who knew Johnson through a mutual friend allegedly identified Johnson to the FBI after seeing his photo the day after the riots. Capitol staff found the lectern in a corridor inside the Capitol building. One of Johnson's attorneys, Dan Eckhart, told reporters that the photo of Johnson carrying the lectern represents a serious problem for his client's defense. I don't know how else to explain that, but yeah, that would be a problem. Eckhart said, "I'm not a magician." Okay, that's cherry picking, I would say. Charges and outcome. Entering and remaining in a restricted building, Johnson pleaded guilty to the charge, sentenced on February 25th, 2022 to 75 days of incarceration with credit for time served. Supervised release for a period of 1 year, special assessment of $25, restitution of $500, fine of $5,000, 200 hours of community service. Johnson received a full pardon on January 20th, 2025. All right. I don't know how long this is going to be here. People could come and, you know, visit Brooklyn and patronize this bar or not, if that's what they want to do. I don't think you're going to be able to read these from a video, to tell you the truth. I wonder if I back up and zoom in, is that better? Oh yeah, that is. Yeah, so I mean, I guess people could pause this video and read these things. I don't know that I have the patience to do this for every single one of them. But let's continue on. Adam Johnson, let's look for William Pope. M-N-O-P, Pearl. am on an inconvenient. There he is, William Alexander Pope. Can we focus? I feel like I'm back in my Hollywood days. Can we focus there? Oh, that's hard to read. Let me see if I can get closer to that. They have it at a good William Pope height, but not good for me. It says, William Alexander Pope, a former candidate for Topeka, Kansas Council and current PhD student at Kansas State University, turned himself in to the FBI on January 12, 2021. I did not damage any property or engage in any violence, Pope wrote on the FBI internet system, tip system. I am loyal to the United States and was only there to exercise my freedom of speech. I left the building voluntarily. A criminal complaint states that video footage depicts Pope and his brother Michael Pope in the hallway outside Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's office. William Pope was striking an office door with a flagpole and attempting to batter the door open with his shoulder, the documents claim. Capitol police officers told the FBI they recalled William Pope due to his large size. Yeah, and his passive resistance. They say he is very tall. They say Pope blocked officers from closing doors to stop other rioters due to his large from entering. They say Pope blocked officers from closing doors to stop other rioters from entering the Capitol, and that Pope tensed up and refused to move when officers attempted to physically push him from the building. All right. Charges and outcome. Civil disorder, obstruction of an official proceeding, entering and remaining in a restricted building and grounds, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building, and wait, the thing is blowing around. Disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, impeding passage through the Capitol grounds or buildings, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Pope pleaded not guilty to all charges. On 9/23/2024, the court dismissed the obstruction charge along with counts 5 and 7. On January 21st, 2025, the court grants the government's motion to dismiss the case with prejudice. Yeah. Michael Anthony Pope, I don't know, but that's Will's brother. That's at the perfect height for me to not really be able to read. Michael Anthony Pope met his brother William Pope the day before the U.S. Capitol riot in Philadelphia. I would imagine he met him 32 years prior when he was born, but okay, some of the writing's a little stupid. They were planning to camp at several parks along the Atlantic seaboard before returning home, according to the FBI. Why is that bad? The criminal complaint says surveillance footage shows the brothers in various areas of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. It also states that Michael Pope entered an elevator and refused police requests to leave at one point. William Pope later told FBI agents that they canceled their vacation plans after seeing the gravity of the January 6 riots. They instead drove to Pittsburgh through West Virginia so Michael could catch a flight back to Idaho. Michael Pope was arrested February 12th in Sandpoint, Idaho. Charges and outcome. Civil disorder, obstruction of an official proceeding, entering and remaining in a restricted building and grounds, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building and grounds, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Pope pleaded guilty to 2 charges, entering and remaining in a restricted building and grounds, and parading and demonstrating or picketing in a Capitol building. The court dismissed the obstruction charge on 10/24/2024. Bench trial verdict on 10/24 finds him guilty on remaining in a Capitol building. Sentencing is set for 4/23/2025. Oh my God, he's going to be sentenced in April. Oh wait, April already happened. Wait a minute. So this is, okay, so it didn't really give us the update. On January 21st, 2025, the court grants the government's motion to dismiss. So what happened to the sentencing? I don't know, that doesn't make a lot of sense there, but okay. So now, what about Brandon? Where's Brandon? Strand. Here, Brandon Straka, 45 years old. Brandon Straka is a self-described former liberal and the founder of the Walkaway. They love to say self-described. Like, what is he going to go get anointed by the Pope? He's a self-described former liberal and the founder of the Walkaway campaign, a movement that encourages and supports those on the left to walk away from the Democratic Party, according to an FBI affidavit. Following a tip the FBI received about Straka's alleged involvement in the January 6th riot, federal investigators reviewed Straka's social media channels and found an hour-long video he posted of himself the day after the attack on the Capitol. He allegedly talked about how he ended up at the U.S. Capitol, saw nothing being broken and nobody committing any acts of violence or vandalism. The FBI received tips from the public with screenshots showing Straka's alleged Twitter activity on January 6th. In one tweet, Straka wrote, "I arrived at the Capitol a few hours ago as patriots were storming from all sides." According to court documents, it was not Antifa at the Capitol, he allegedly wrote in another tweet. Why did he write that? It was freedom-loving patriots. Well, depending on who he saw, that might have been true, who were desperate to fight for the final hope of our republic, because literally nobody cares about them. Everybody else can denounce them, I will not. Witnesses also shared a video with the FBI which allegedly showed Straka on the cusp of entering the U.S. Capitol. So now being on the cusp could be accused of being on the cusp of entering the U.S. Capitol, encouraging the crowd to take Capitol Police officers' shields, as he yelled, "Take it away from him, take the shield." Charges and outcome: disorderly conduct in a Capitol building. Straka pleaded guilty to the single charge, sentenced on January 24th, 2022 to 36 months of probation, 90 days location monitoring and home confinement, $5,000 fine, $500 restitution, $10 special assessment. What the hell are they doing with that $10? 60 hours of community service. Straka received a full pardon on January 20th, 2025. What about George? Here's Enrique Tarrio. Now, wasn't he not even there? What does blue mean again? Here's George Tanyos. That's even higher than... I can't read that, George. I'm sorry. We're going to have to read that after the fact. Let's back up. Now, the camera's too far away from me to read it, and that's way too high up for me to read, but we'll leave it on there. Maybe, can I read it on here? Whoops, let's see. No way. I'll just hold it steady and then we can read it after. Enrique Tarrio, I don't think I've ever met. He kind of got screwed, because if he wasn't even there, how did they, let's read what it says, because he is a unique case in this matter. It's also an awkward height. As his fellow Proud Boys, what does blue mean again? Damaged property. I thought he wasn't even there. Why is he listed on blue? Maybe I got the story wrong. As his fellow Proud Boys allegedly entered the Senate chamber of the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th, Enrique Tarrio posted to social media that he was proud of my boys and my country, court records indicate. According to the FBI, Tarrio served as the national chair of the Proud Boys, a far-right extremist group, and allegedly helped plan the January 6th attack. So why is he here? They were convicted of seditious conspiracy and have sued the government for $100 million, claim that the federal officials had objected them to political persecution as allies of President Trump. Well, I mean, here, people who want to read that, you can read the whole thing, but it seems like this thing, having him listed in blue as damaging property, how could he damage property? I'm pretty sure he wasn't even there. I should have brought a stepladder so I could read George. I just can't read it at all. It says he's 39 years old. George Pierre Tanyos is the manager of Sandwich University a sandwich shop in Morgantown, West Virginia, according to documents. I just can't read it, man. This is like an eye test. Sorry, George. Well, I mean, I don't know. What do people think of this display? Wall of shame. Not that many people looking at it here. So nobody really cares, I guess. It's not the busiest of streets here in Brooklyn. It's like a weird camper van. But, you know, loads of people really had their lives screwed up. Who's the guy who committed suicide? Oh, they're just talking about the officer. Jeffrey L. Smith, police officer, 4 Capitol officers. Doesn't tell me about the January 6er who committed suicide. I forget his name. I guess I should have come here on a live with William Pope. He knows all about everybody involved in this. I was going to call him, and again, coordinating this. I guess I could come hours in advance and wait here. I don't know, we'll see what people think about that. I just wanted to come out here, give everybody a view of this so-called self-proclaimed, what did they say about Brandon? Self-proclaimed art installation. I don't know, is that art? They're just printing out a bunch of statements. Maybe it's art. I guess art is in the eye of the beholder. Behold. Yeah, I mean, you know, of course it is. Is that a mess or is that art? You tell me. Looks kind of bad. But my opinion doesn't make something art or not. I mean, you know, this is the neighborhood they put it in. Anyway, that's the special excursion for today, the January 6th Wall of Shame. Shame on the guy who made it. He's a jerk. But it's his right to do. I hope that people will sponsor this show. You can do it on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com. I guess we're only days away from Odyssey turning off the ability for sponsors on there to see sponsor exclusive content, unless you're using the AR cryptocurrency, which you got to look into that and see if that suits you. A lot of people have found it complicated and confusing. You can make a sponsorship payment on paypal.me/crowdsourcethetruth, and you can also sponsor the show on subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Get all the sponsor exclusive content there. Of course, people who are following me on X at JG_CSTT, you can subscribe there and access sponsor exclusive content. Thanks to everybody who's doing that. And thanks for watching the show, everybody.